Hey guys, welcome to this video. In today's video, basically, I plan to solve mock exams for CKAD. And one of the resources that I've been using for my preparation is this course on Udemy. And it comes with four practice exams. So two full-length exams, which are 1 hour long, and then you have two lightning labs, which are 30-minute long. So in this video, I will start with mock exam 1, and in the future videos, I do plan to cover mock exam 2 as well as lightning labs. Okay, so let's start solving the exercises. My environment is ready now. I'll click on quiz portal. I have one tab open. Just like in exam, you're allowed to keep one tab open for referring to the documentation. So I'll be practicing in a similar way. So the first question is to deploy a pod named Nginx 448839 using Nginx Alpine image. So for this question, I will be using an imperative command to generate this resource. And it's one of the easiest questions so far. And the reason why I'm adding this flag restart never is so that we only generate a pod and not a deployment. So if I don't include this flag, it will go ahead and spin up a deployment. Technically, even that would be correct because that will spin up the pod itself. But in this case, since the question asks you for a pod, it's better to just do that. And as you can see, pod is created successfully. So now let's move on to the next question. Create a namespace called apx z993845. So k create, and S is the short form for namespace. Next, create a new deployment named HTTP frontend with 3 replicas using image. Okay, so for this one, I will be using imperative command, but I will use hybrid approach. So what that means is I will generate a deployment definition file from the imperative command, and then I will just change the number of replicas that we need. Because in this new version of kubectl, this kubectl create command does not provide an option or argument for specifying the number of replicas. So create deploy. Deploy is the shorthand for deployment, and the image. Let me copy the image from here. And using dry run, I will just output this object and then copy it in this file, which I'll name it as deploy.yaml. Now, as you can see, there is replicas. So I'll go to that line and then basically change the number to 3. So that is the only requirement here. Create f deploy.yaml, and that is done. So the next question is deploy a messaging pod using Redis Alpine image with labels set to tier equal to message. So we can achieve all of that using imperative command. There's no need to generate the file. So the thing is, when you specify this flag labels, it automatically assumes that it's a pod and not a deployment, and that's why you don't really need to add the flag restart equal to never. And as you can see, this pod is created. If I want to confirm it, I'll describe this pod. And as you can see, we have added the labels successfully. So now let's move on to the next question. A replica set RSD33393 is created. However, the pods are not coming up. Identify and fix the issue. Okay, so now I can see here it's invalid image name, so I can already guess from this that the image name is wrong, and when the Kubernetes is trying to pull this image from Docker Hub, it's not able to find it. So anyways, let's inspect. RS is the shorthand for replica set. So let me just copy this name. And what we will do is we'll generate a YAML file from this resource that is already running in the cluster. I'll find the image, and as you can see here, I can already guess those capital X's, they are like unwanted characters, so let's just remove those. And now let us just save. So for replica set, you cannot edit when the resource is already deployed. You cannot update any properties. So in this case, we will have to delete all of the pods that are running, and so the new ones that will come up will have this change included. But for now, what I will do is I will go ahead and delete the replica set itself, so that will kill all of the pods, and then I will just create fresh from this file. Okay, so just to confirm now, let us check. So I can already see the two of them are running, so I mean there's no error. So we can move on to the next question. Create a service messaging service to expose Redis deployment in the marketing namespace within the cluster on the port 6379. Use imperative command. So here it specifically asks you to use imperative command, and I think that's also one of the easiest one to use. Like, it's faster for the exam. And you just go to the reference docs here. On the left hand side, you'll see expose. Click on that, and then you'll find the command itself over here. What I find useful is to look at the examples on the right hand side rather than trying to make sense of all of these optional parameters or flags that you can pass. So in this case, since we need to expose the deployment, I will copy this, and the deployment name is Redis. and the name of the service is messaging service on the port 6379. So port, this is for the marketing namespace, and then the name of the service itself. Messaging service. Okay, so now we are good. We can move on to the next question. Update the environment variable on the pod web app color to use green background. So again, in this case, we cannot just update the environment variable when the pod is already running. So to update it, we need to first kill the pod and then create a new pod with the updated values. But since we are not provided with the YAML files, what I'll have to do is basically generate it from the object that is running here. So the command for that is get the pod web app color and output it in YAML format, and then copy that syntax into our file. So this will be web.yaml vi web, and I'll search for the environment variable here. Okay, so you can see there's a pink. We'll just replace it with green. Now first I'll have to delete the already running pod. So the reason I'm adding these flags, grace period equal to 0 and force, is because I want the pod to be killed immediately, and we don't want to wait for the pod to kill gracefully because we don't have that much time during the exam. So this is quite handy. Oh, okay, I forgot to add the resource pod. And as you can see, it's killed immediately, and now we can use that file to generate a new pod with the environment. So the next question, create a new config map named CM3392845, use the spec given on the right. So here it doesn't mention that whether we should use imperative or declarative style of command, but in this case I think going with the imperative one will be much faster. So on the left hand side, once again you'll see create, and under create there's config map. Let's go to that, and I will be using the from literal thing, so I'll just copy till here. Copy the name of the config map, and then add these specifications or data. The only problem is you have to keep repeating this from literal all the time, but I think it's still faster compared to the declarative way of doing things. Okay, so that is generated. Let's move on to the next question. Create, okay, I think there's some mistake. It's the same question here. Create a new secret named db secret xxdf with the data given on the right. So what I'll do is once again I will use a similar command to generate this secret. refer to the documentation here, secret generic. And just notice one thing: if you copy from your kubectl create generic, this will lead to an error. And I've faced this issue personally many times, because you have to include the keyword secret. As you can see here, this is the correct version. I don't know if this is a typo, or if there is some purpose behind leaving that out. That's why I find these examples to be more intuitive. So in this case, I will just add this statement. I'll copy it from here and copy the name. And basically it's the same drill from here on, from literal db host, once again from literal db user root, db password 123. Okay, so that is created successfully. Let's move on to the next question. Update the pod appsec to run as a root user with systime capability. So let me go back to the docs, check for capability, and you will find this under security context. So let me search for the word systime, and these are the exact 3 lines that we need to copy. Let's copy that. Okay, so first of all, because this pod is already deployed, we need to create the YAML file from it, and then we will go in and edit the capabilities. So let's do that. Get po appsec o YAML and sec.yaml vi sec.yaml, and go to image. So right about here I will add those 3 lines, copy them. It's at the same indentation level as the image. Okay, now I'll go ahead and delete netadmin. Once again, I will have to delete this pod first and then recreate it. So we'll add grace period equal to 0, force, and kill it. Okay, so the pod is created successfully. Let's move on. Export the logs of ecom this pod ecom1123 to the file at this path, and it is in a different namespace, so identify the namespace first. So I'll have to do all namespaces and look for that one, ecom1123. It is in e-commerce namespace. So right off the bat, what I will do is I will just set this namespace to, I'll pass on this flag so that I don't forget it later on. And e-commerce logs, and then the copy the name of this pod. And basically we'll copy all of the output from this command into the file on this path. So let's copy that, paste it, and to confirm I will just cat it out. So as you can see, we have all the logs copied in that file. So we're good. Let's go to the next question. Create a persistent volume with the given specification. So persistent volume and okay, so here it is. And what all properties I need to add: volume name, storage, access modes, and then the host path. So from this I need only till access modes, because rest of the things I don't need to specify. Now let's go ahead and edit this file. So first the name has to be PV Analytics. Storage 100 milli. Okay, and read write many. So and the next one is host path at this path. So this one we have to add manually. Host path. Okay, so let's go ahead and create it. pv.yaml, and that is created. Let's go to the next one. Create a Redis deployment using this image, Redis Alpine, with one replica and the label app Redis, and then expose it via cluster IP service called Redis on port 6379. After that, we also need to create a new resource or new network policy, and that will allow any incoming traffic from the pods that have this label access Redis. Okay, so in a single file, first I'll create a deployment and service, and then we will look at the network policy. So for this one, once again I will use the hybrid approach to first generate the file, deploy Redis Alpine, and let's name it as dp.yaml. Open this file, dp.yaml, and images already there, one replica, and the label is already app Redis, so we don't need to change anything here. Let's just create the service to be exposed on this port 6379. So I'll copy the definition for service, and we want the most basic one, so let's just copy this one. So we can create two definitions within one file just by adding these 3 dashes or 3 hyphens between the two definitions, and it's treated like 2 different files. So the name of the service The name of the service is Redis. So first I'll search for it. Change it to Redis, and I'll also have to change the selector to match to the deployment. And then the port should be 6379. So and I'll just remove the target port. It's not mandatory, because if you specify the port, the target port is considered to be the same as the original port. So I think we are good here. Let's create these resources. As you can see, we have both deployment and service created. So now we have to create a network policy. So let's go to the network policy definition. And let's copy it till here, because we need to specify the ingress traffic. Okay, and now I'll just edit that file, np.yaml. So the name of this network policy is supposed to be Redis access. Okay, and only the pods. Okay, so in the selector, first we'll have to match it to the kind of pod or the deployment that we are trying to give access to. So that is app Redis, as we already defined over there. And now we have to define some of the policies for ingress, some specification. Okay, so there's a lot of unwanted data like we don't really need this namespace selector, IP block. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove those. And now under pod selector, we need to specify the labels to match to this one. So that will be access Redis. And the ports are already correct, 6379. So no need to change that. And now let's create it. Okay, so that is created. Let's go to the next question. This is the last question in the lot. Create a pod called Sega with 2 containers. The first one name is Tails and the image is BusyBox. And we need to provide the command sleep 3600. And then there's a container 2 with the specification. So I will first generate, using the imperative command, I'll generate a pod definition file and then we will add the additional containers. So the name is Sega, image is busybox, and restart equal to never, dry run equal to client, Yaml. I will name this file as multi.yaml. Okay, so first thing, if you see the name of this container, it has given Sega, that is by default. We don't want that, so let's change it. According to the question, we need to make it tails, as you can see here, and then there's a command sleep 3600. So let me remove all of the additional lines which we don't need. Command sleep okay, and now we will set up the next container. So first I'll copy all of the lines from this one, and the image for this one is Nginx, and the name is Sonic. We don't really need command here, but we have to pass environment variables. Environment variables are an array, so we have to give it a dash. Name will be Nginx port, and then the value will be 8080. So okay, create -f multi.yaml, and that is created just to confirm that all the containers are running. So as you can see, there are two containers and it's still in the creating stage. Let's make sure that there's no problem before we end the exam. So as you can see now it is running and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and end the exam. This is optional. Fingers crossed. Let's hope we get 100%. Awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video.